Disaster Management in the Philippines by Bryan Stetson. The Philippines is among one of the most vulnerable places in the world, susceptible to storms, floods, earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunamis, wildfires, and landslides. The Philippines is a target to some of the most frequent and devastating natural disasters the world has ever seen. Located in Southeast Asia and situated in the western Pacific Ocean, the Republic of the Philippines consists of 7,641 islands, blessed with an abundance of natural resources and biodiversity. The Philippines is also located on the Pacific Ring of Fire and close to the equator, making earthquakes and tsunamis common and devastating. In order to combat this array of natural disasters, the Philippines has implemented the National Disaster Risk and Management Plan, also referred to as NDRMP. The NDRMP was established in 2011 and provides a legal basis for policies, plans, and programs aimed at dealing with disasters in the Philippines. The NDRMP covers 4 areas, all aimed at creating safer, adaptive, and disaster-resilient Filipino communities towards sustainable development. The first area deals with disaster prevention and mitigation. The goal is to avoid hazards and mitigate their potential impacts by reducing vulnerabilities and exposure while enhancing the capabilities of communities. The next step in the risk and management program is disaster preparedness. This aims at strengthening the capacity of communities to be able to anticipate, cope, and recover from emergencies and disasters. In the case that a disaster does occur, the third step of the plan is implemented: disaster response. The last step in the process, and potentially the most difficult step, is disaster rehabilitation and recovery, which often involves building housing structures, health and sanitation facilities, as well as providing equal opportunities for Filipino residents. Moving on, recent disasters in the Philippines, for example, one that occurred on February 17th, 2006 in South Leyte, Philippines, was a massive landslide that hit the village of Guinsagon with the force. Guinsagon had a population of 1,857 persons. Tragically, after this event, only 20 people could be rescued. Although there was little hope, rescuers searched tirelessly for 8 days until finally switching the mission from search and rescue to retrieval of fatalities. The landslide occurred in the Philippine Fault Zone, an area known to have caused many other landslides, but none of this size and destruction. To understand how to prevent a disaster such as this, it is important to understand the factors that may have caused it. The first may be an obvious one, which was an excessive amount of rainfall. According to NASA, NASA JAXA tropical rainfall measuring mission reported 500 millimeters of rain fell on South Leyte between February 4th and 7th, and another 683.6 millimeters on February 8th through February 12th. The second explanation for this event is an earthquake that occurred in South Leyte on February 17th. The Philippine Institute of Volcano and Seismology recorded 2.6 magnitude earthquake 21 kilometers west of Guiastagan. Scientists interpret that this was the main cause of the event. The third and final explanation is the unusual deformation of the slope prior to the landslide, which was very tragic for the people. An official number was 1,221 fatalities. Here are some pictures. The top left one depicts the landslide actually occurring. The one beneath it shows just some of the many areas that were devastated from this event. And the one on the right shows rescuers trying to rescue someone out of the location. In conclusion, the Philippines has suffered some of the most catastrophic disasters the world has ever seen. In the result, the country is suffering of poverty and lack of employment. Storms, floods, earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunamis, wildfires, and landslides are a constant risk to this community. The NDRMP, or National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Plan, was established in 2011. As I mentioned, it's trying to create a safer, more adaptive, and resilient Filipino community. So far, the plan has worked well in response, and it has saved life, but the recovery phase is still a work in progress. It could take up to 15 years for a community to recover from such a high-scale disaster as the one we seen in Guistagan. The country has been shaped by disaster, And really, this plan that was developed in 2011 should be something that hopefully pushes it forward and becomes more developed and more resilient to disasters in the future. Thank you.